As far back as I can remember, I've always been on a healing quest, trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Is it just the way that I was born, or does it have something to do with the way that I was raised? We know now that the first few years of life are so important, but what we don't yet have is a coherent model to describe the development of the personality of the child, as well as the possible future psychopathology. Join us on a healing adventure around the world as we go in search of just such a model, exploring the nature of nurture and the evolution of love. To answer these questions, we have to go back, all the way back to a very important moment in evolution, when boobs first appeared. Yep, you heard me, boobs. Several species of fish, amphibians and reptiles take great care with hiding and protecting their eggs. Some will even brood with them, and others even carry them in their mouths or pouches to keep them safe. But usually after they hatch, they're on their own, with little or no motherly care and parental protection at all. But mammals, especially the more social mammals, are capable of loving, caring, playful bonds with their kids that can last a lifetime. The word mammal refers to all creatures who have mammary glands that secrete milk. But why were breasts so important? Why should that be the defining feature of the mammals, the most successful class of life on Earth? A mammal mama didn't just lay eggs and disappear like most fish, amphibians and reptiles, but rather she grew her child inside her own body and then gave birth to this part of herself, now removed from her, but still completely dependent on her, suckling of the substance of her breasts, either side of her heart, to stay alive. These changes made mammal relationships and bonds much warmer and much more intimate. Swapping their hard scales for soft skin and fur meant that touch and contact comfort became a powerful form of communication for mammals.
I think the most amazing thing for me over the years has been to watch the development of relationships between mothers and infants, to see this long-term affectionate supportive bond between family members that can last through a lifetime.
Fifi was one of Gombe's greatest mothers.
And she's such a successful mother, and she's got this amazing family.
They have a really strong, extraordinarily strong bond, mother and infant. And, almost within physical touching range or physical touch itself for the first 4 years of life.
The mother chimp acts as a teacher, a protector, a playmate, a provider, and even a taxi.
You kind of go through these major steps of development as a kid. You're first born, you ride on your mommy's tummy. About 6 months, you shift up to ride on your mom's back. And you'll probably ride on your mom's back for, another 2-3 years, depending on who you are and how long you can get away.
I literally thought somebody came to hold me up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am walking around here lopsided like a penguin. I was like Cece the penguin, basically walking around in the house. All that I went through is all good because the end result is greater. The end result is beautiful.
The baby is suddenly pushed and pulled into a bizarre world full of bright lights and strange sounds, yucky tastes and weird odors, disorientating movements and terrible pain. But just as suddenly, all of that chaos fades into a background hush as his mama holds him and he latches onto her breast. Warm, sweet, delicious milk flows into his mouth and he gazes up into her loving eyes. The newborn's every sense and entire perception system is fine-tuned for connection with his mother. He can't adjust his focal length yet, and so his eyes can only see clearly at around 30 centimeters, right where mummy's face is while breastfeeding. They are also bonding through touch, which sparks something amazing. When the baby touches the mother's breast, oxytocin is released in her brain, which causes milk to flow and puts them both in this warm, blissful bubble of connected attunement.
Babies this young are extremely responsive to the emotions and the reactivity and the social interaction that they get from the world around them.
After several minutes' play, the mother is signaled to leave the room.
I'll get you back in 1 minute.
Upsetting for you. The key moment in the experiment is the child's reaction to her mother's return.
The important clue is whether the baby's able to become calmed down by the contact with the mother, get back to play. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes. But the point here is not to distress the baby, we're just trying to challenge it. The baby puts her hands to her face in a sad expression, puts her face down. When she picks her up, she keeps her head down, her arms out, and then she sits in the chair holding the baby. The baby's still sullen. He's low-keyed.
So you would call this insecure attachment?
Yes, insecure. He's avoidant. He's not engaging her, and it's not the reunion's not effective. When she returns, she picks him up. He can't calm down. He's still upset. She offers a toy to amuse him or to comfort him or to distract him, and he slaps it away. She offers another. He slaps it away. He's angry. We call these babies resistant.
Essentially, all of the attachment situations, all of the experiences, all of the dysregulating experiences are stored in the right hemisphere. And they're stored not in explicit declarative, but implicit procedural memory. What if the haven of safety, the primary caregiver, is now the source of massive dysregulation? And not only that, what if she is not the source of repair? Because we now know that actually it's not just the tuning all the time. The mother makes many mistakes. The key is her ability to repair, especially negative affects. But the initial trajectory of the right brain is set up in the attachment relationship. And again, that's critical because the right brain has more connections into the body, into the autonomic nervous system, and into the hypothalamic pituitary axis, which is the stress regulating axis of the body. That is directly impacted by the relationship the infant has with the caregiver. And therefore, the ways that the person will react to stress over the lifespan, so to speak, is very much affected by these early situations.
Everyone is a mirror for how you are showing up. And the way that you think, the way that you feel inside, I always say this, it's communicated through your body language. I can look at someone and tell if they are grounded in confidence and feminine energy, or if they are grounded in a lack of self-trust and wounded feminine energy. The way that you smile, the way that you speak, the more confident that you are, the better and more powerfully you are able to communicate.
Social gatherings are the worst. You just get so flustered and stressed out and overwhelmed and tongue-tied. It's like all your functions start malfunctioning. You can't even walk properly, you can't even swallow properly, you can't even breathe properly, let alone communicate and talk and have fun and enjoy. I become acutely self-conscious and my heart is pounding and I'm so worried about making a good impression or not making a fool of yourself or that you'll be rejected or humiliated. It's very stressful to be in that mode almost constantly. So it's only when you're alone that you can calm down and relax.
It's always been a big problem for me, and that is the rage.
the undying anger and just like extreme, like for me it's like a blackout almost of like I don't really remember what happens when I'm angry. And it can be over like seemingly what other people think to be the smallest things, but to me it's obviously a big deal. Really, really, really angry, and it is so hard to control because in the moment I'm just like, I'm not thinking, I'm just spewing out just everything that's on my mind. Like, how could you do this to me? Like, you obviously must be a piece of shit person to be doing this. Like, I can't wrap my head around why it's happening, and my brain kind of shuts off. And that's when I say like really, really, really mean things that are sometimes really hard to come back from.
She still has marks on her body from where I beat her. As I talk about my weakness, I feel really ashamed. I used to beat my wife every day.
We are, above all, social bonding animals. Attachment is simply the most profound developmental vision of human personality offered by modern psychology. It tells us who we are, how we lose our way, and how we can move into a place where we are safe and sound. It cracks the code of close relationships and lays out the secrets of love and loving. It shows how the hum in your nervous system, the emotional music in your brain, structures the way you engage with others and vice versa.